And we are live. It is Tuesday, May 24th, here in Tokyo, Japan. What is good? What is up? As usual, late to the scheduled live stream, but it is what it is. Um, Most people catch the replays anyway, but people that watch my content. But today's topic at hand is are Japanese girls easy for foreign guys? And obviously I'm a white guy, an Irish guy, so I can only give it, I can really only tell it from the perspective of a white guy in general. But let's just say foreign guys in general. The whole branch of foreigner in Japan, are Japanese girls easy? Because this is this is the most. I mean, the thing is, I've been in Japan for 7 years now. I've lived here as a home base for yeah, pretty much exactly 7 years now. And so I have a good understanding of this topic. And it's just something that I'm constantly reminded of, because it's I'm like, as a foreigner in Japan, I'm constantly told that it's easy for me as a foreign guy in Japan. It's constantly comes to me, like this idea, this myth, let's just say. So there you have it. I'm calling it a myth. It's not true. I can leave it there. Goodbye. Good day. No, no, I'll explain in more detail. But no, it's not true. But living here, I've always been told, that it for me, I have some kind of advantage. It's like the whole white privilege thing. It's like there's people that are white that don't have privilege. But especially, I don't know, living like I said, living as a foreigner in Japan, if I go out, to a bar or a club, or just meet Japanese people in general, it's not uncommon for the topic to come up that, oh, it must be so easy for you to get with Japanese girls, or you must be popular with Japanese girls. And then it's not only Japanese people that say it, it's also foreign people have the perception, outside of Japan. So people just think that, oh, you're it's easy mode because you're living in Japan, and oh, it's like, as a white guy, it's so easy. And it's just funny because it's in reality, it's literally the opposite. It's literally not easy. It's a disadvantage. It's harder in no, not my opinion. I know, I've been here, and I've been in the game since I've been here. Like, I do day game. I understand the game inside out. Like, to get with girls in Japan, you need to have extra good game. Your game needs to be really sharp, and you need to understand the culture a little bit. Um, the thing is, it's like, you. It's not that you can't get with any chicks. It's just that it's almost as though, as a foreigner in Japan, it's almost as though you only get access to a certain kind of girl. And it's a very small percentage. You get access to a small pool of girls that like foreign culture or like foreign guys. And contrary to popular belief, this is a small subset of Japanese chicks. The overwhelming majority of Japanese chicks have no interest in dating a foreign guy. And the thing is, if you were to ask them, or Oh, are they interested in foreign guys? They might say kind of stuff like, "Oh, foreign guys are cool. Oh, so handsome." But when these chicks are responding like this, it's just like it's kind of like a broken record. They're just saying what it's like. It's just copy and paste kind of thing, and they don't really mean it. It's like there's no thought process behind what they're actually saying. They don't mean you're cool. Like they're just saying, "Oh yeah," it's almost like patronizing. We're saying it in a patronizing way, and yeah, it's funny. Some girls will even, you do cold approach or whatever, and some girls will in the most condescending, patronizing way, they'll be like, "Oh no, too cool, you're too cool." It's like, bitch, like get the fuck out of here. But or they'll say, yeah, no, there's no, there's common themes, but another one is you can get talking to a girl and she will say, you'll be talking to her a little bit, just breaking the ice, and she'd be like, "Oh, but there's way cuter girls than me around, so you should go and talk to the other girls." And it's like, oh, it's so condescending and it's annoying, but it's part of the game. But it is what it is. But there's certain there's certain signs and signals and telltale certain wording that you understand when a girl is really not interested, and it just so happens that it just so happens that it can be very the thing is, I know the game. I know when a girl is showing genuine interest, and I know when she's saying certain things to tell me that, oh, she's not interested, and it can come across as being condescending because I know what she's doing. But anyway, kind of a side note there. But yeah, it's like if you're a foreigner in Japan, obviously, there's different kinds of foreigners in Japan. Like I said, I'm kind of speaking from a white male perspective. But yeah, in my opinion, you can we can just use the umbrella and just talk about foreigners in general. Um, so it's just the pool of foreigners in Japan is quite small. It's quite a small community of people. So it wouldn't be, you know if you're a foreigner in Tokyo, and you go out and you're active and you go to nightclubs, and you're out, it wouldn't be weird that I would at least know your face, you know and you might think that's crazy in a city like the size of Tokyo, but over time, if you're in a city long enough, any kind of city, no matter how big it is, over time the city will feel smaller and smaller, and yeah, but especially that's amplified because there's so few foreigners, like compared to the overall Japanese population. There are very few foreigners in Japan. So, like I said, if they're active in nightlife, if they're out and about in certain areas, even if I don't know their name, I've never talked to them. At least I'll kind of recognize them. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things, and yeah. So like, I know the myth. So let's just talk about the myth again. That the myth that Japanese girls are easy, um, in Japan, are easy for foreign guys in Japan. So, what where the I've talked about this before in other streams, but I let me just tell you where the myth came from. Basically, this is my hot take on where the idea that Japanese girls are easy for foreign guys. and it comes from, foreign. Japan has the culture of anime, manga, all this, and it can honestly, it can attract a certain kind of dork, certain kind of geek to Japan, and it has, and it still does. Um, so these guys would come over from wherever, America, Europe, I don't know, wherever around the world, and they'd come over, and they're geeks. Let's just be real honest. Like, not everyone, but obviously I'm not a geek, but um, they come over, and what ends up happening is they end up doing better here in Japan than they could do back in their home country. So I will admit that aspect of it, but that does not mean that Japanese girls are easy. That just means they're in a different dating pool, and just the dynamics are different. So what, like, even a geek, if he tries hard enough, sure, he might do better in Japan than he would do in his home country, but that's only because he has certain things he can offer a girl here. Girls can get something out of him that he wouldn't be able to give to girls back home. For example, some Japanese girls want to learn English, so that's one aspect. That's one aspect, one way in which guys can kind of come here and punch up. Um, they can but these guys, they still they only have access to that small group of girls that like foreign guys, as I was saying earlier. That pool is only a couple of percent of the whole population of females. Like, after 7 years of being here, I can conclude that the vast majority of Japanese girls have no interest in dating a foreign guy. Have no interest in. They might be a little bit curious, but they're just not really attracted to foreign guys. That's another thing, that they're not actually attracted to foreign guys. There's this idea that oh, you're a foreign guy, you're white, you're this, you're that, you're black, whatever. You're going to be more attractive. There's different kind of beauty standards here. There's different, but let me just talk about the again the dork that comes over here and does well, with chicks. Um, and my point is that the guy, he although he might be able to do better here in Japan than he could back in his home country, he still it's not he's not going to be able to live like a player lifestyle. If he's a fucking dork, he's a dork, and he has no game. He has no game. He'll only, first of all, he'll only have access to that percentile of females that are interested in foreign guys. And then there's even a hierarchy in that percentile. So there's like the hot girls that like foreign guys, and then there's the, like, it goes right down to the lowest level, right? Um, but so he would, if you're a dork, you're gonna get access to kind of the lower level chicks. Um, but the thing is, Japanese girls, even if they're kind of busted by Japanese standards, um, they're they're gonna be, like I said, they're gonna be better than what the dork or the nerd could have gotten back home. So that aspect of, Japanese girls being easy, it's not even that they're easy. It's just that he can do better with a certain kind of girl, um here in Japan than he could do back home. And that's only because, like I said, he can offer certain things. Maybe girls also romanticize the image of, having some kind of adventure with a foreign guy, um, stuff like that. But that dork, that nerd doesn't get access to 99% of Japanese chicks. Like they don't want anything to do with him. So yeah, no, that's the point. If he tries hard enough, if you're a dork and nerd and you come over to Japan and you want a girlfriend, yeah, you're probably going and you try hard enough to get a girlfriend, you're probably going to be able to get a girlfriend and maybe sleep with a few girls here and there. But to say that you could live a player lifestyle and it's just like on tap, like it's going to be easy for you to hook up and get with girls, nah, it's like you're pure delusion. It's not going to happen. You're going to be sorely disappointed. Um, but yeah, like so that's that. That's where the myth comes from. So you like the myth comes from like maybe Japanese people seeing like a fucking dork, a nerd with some all average to busted chick. Like it's not that they like the if you're a dork or a nerd, like yeah, it's gonna be very fucking unlikely that you're gonna get with and I'm not saying it's impossible. You like if you could get lucky and find a girlfriend or get laid every now and again with a hot girl, but again, like I said, to like I'm talking about consistency. Like the idea that if you're a nerd or a dork and as a foreigner and you come over to Japan, the idea that you're just gonna have this consistent like be able to consistently live some kind of player lifestyle without any game. And it's just easy. You don't have it's just no. It's like it's total delusion. It's certainly not the case for me. It's not the case for anyone I know really. Um, it's really not the case at all. Um, yeah, and like it's funny. I've told this story before, but um, there's I have a friend here in Tokyo, and I met him about a year and a half ago. Can't exactly remember, but um, I remember I met him in a bar, and we just started talking, and we're talking about how long you've been in Japan, like what do you like it, or basic fucking ice breaking shit, just shooting the shit. And obviously it wasn't long before we started talking about chicks. And I told him, it's good. I think he hadn't been here very long, but um, I said, "How are you finding it with the chicks?" And he was like, "Oh my god, it's amazing! It's like it's so good. It's like it's so much easier than it is back home." And fair enough. I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's not." He seemed like he wasn't a dork. He wasn't a nerd. He was a tall, decent looking guy. So um, yeah, I understood. Like, but he was new to the country. So and then I said my piece. I was like, yeah, it's not a bad. There's certainly a lot of hot chicks here. It's not a bad place to be. But I asked him, you think it's easier than it is back home? And he was, oh yeah, it's easy mode here. And I was like, yeah, yeah. Well, if you have game, it can be. But I put out the point that as foreigners, we kind of you need mad game you need extra good game to get with the like outside of the small pool of girls that like foreign guys. And he completely disagreed with it. And it was funny because I was like, trust me, I'm right about this. I cannot be disputed about this. I just know I've been in the game since I arrived in Japan. Like I've been doing game here. Like I understand it deeply. Like I understand what it takes to get with girls. And I'm maxing out game in Japan basically. I'm maxing on it. So I was like, I had to argue with him on it. I was like, dude, like, no, we do not. It's not easy mode with all Japanese girls. And I said to him, we only get like, it's only easy mode with a very small percentile of girls. And I said to him, to any of the girls you're getting with, I guarantee you they're in that small, tiny percentile. He was like, "Oh, I don't know about that, man. I've, I feel like these girls, they're, I can. It doesn't matter." He was denying the idea that there is a pool, and that's fine. But he's wrong. Like 100%, he's fucking wrong. And I'm not saying he wasn't hooking up with chicks and he wasn't doing well. He probably was. Like I said, he was a good looking guy. He seemed like he had some game. He dressed well, all that shit. But I was like, dude, you're gonna be sorely, like I said, he was new to the country, so he didn't fully get it. Like, so I was like, dude, you're doing well in a small pool. There's a lot of girls that wouldn't touch you with a barge pole. Like unless your game is super solid. And even so, there's girls like, I'm a day game coach. I teach guys day game, and I understand there's certain girls that no matter how good your game is, no matter how smooth you are, no matter how like you looks maxing, dressing well, everything on point, perfect, smooth as fuck, you're just saying your piece. There's just certain girls that aren't going to give you a shot, So I was proven right in the end, and I was proven right multiple times with this guy. So this was the first time I met him, and we eventually we started becoming friends after this. But over time, eventually, the truth was revealed, and it was fucking hilarious to see it. I think the first time there was multiple times the truth was revealed, but I think the most outrageous example of the truth, me being right about the whole um small percentile of girls that you only get access to. This is a hilarious story. But so I hadn't seen, I met my friend, I hadn't seen him out um for a while, and I remember meeting him. I remember it was Christmas, actually, sometime around Christmas and New Year, Christmas. And I said to him, "How's it going?" Hadn't seen him in a few weeks. Um and he was like, "Oh, dude, I had a threesome." I was like, "Dude, nice, man," because I was telling him, he was telling me he wanted to have one. He hadn't done one ever. So I was like, "Yeah, you can do." I kind of told him what you need to do it, and like, because I've had experience doing them, and I kind of gave him some advice. But I remember he came up to me and was like, "Dude, I had a threesome." He was all excited and shit, and I was like, "Oh, cool, man." And he's, I was like, "Who are the girls?" And he was like, "Oh, one girl was like this, and oh, there was this other girl. She was here traveling." I was like, "Oh, cool." And then he said, "Oh," I was like, "Where is she from?" And he said, "Oh, she's from Hokkaido." And I said, "Northern Island." And I'm not joking you. This is hilarious because, like, as soon as he said Hokkaido, this is, because I also knew another girl from Hokkaido. It's hilarious, but I knew it was that girl. Like, I knew it was her, just because, like I said, I know this shit. Foreigners only get access to a certain percentile of girls here. Like, factual. Like, you can punch outside of that pool, but your game needs to be pretty solid. You're kind of at that point you're dealing with girls that, like, they're just kind of gonna give you a shot. They're curious about foreigners, but like in general, they're not interested. But anyway, so as soon as he said Hokkaido, I was like, oh shit. And I said, like, uh, what's her name? I asked a few questions. Can't remember exactly what I said, but I said, okay. So I said, what's her name? And I'm not. I won't say her name, but let's just say, just in case, I'll just say her name's Aya. And Aya, or whatever. I don't know, whatever. Aya, we call her Aya. Um, and I was like, oh shit. So he said her name's Aya, and oh man, I knew exactly who it was. Like, and then I just took out my phone. He's kind of bewildered. What do you do? Like, you know her? And I just took out my phone, searched up her name in my contacts. I showed him the photo, and he just freaked out. He was like, "What the fuck? Oh my god, how did you know her? Like, what? Oh my god, what?" So that was just me being, again, I had met this chick as well from from Hokkaido, and her name, it was. I just knew it was the same girl, like, because he said she was traveling, like, even with such little information, tiny bit of information. I like, to be honest, as soon as he said Hokkaido, I was like, I know who that is. I know who he did the threesome with, and yeah, I had banged her. Um, yeah, I had banged her a few days previous because at this time, I was using it was from a dating app called Bumble. But I mean, if you're talking about small pools, holy shit! If you're using any of those dating apps, um, holy shit, it's like that's just the way it is. Uh, so even in Japan, like even in dating apps, and by the way, that was like only the first time I had been proven right. So you go back to the first time I ever met my friend, he was adamant that, oh, there's no difference, like we all get access to the same girls, it's just easy. He was like proven wrong so many times, proven wrong, like, and now he just has to accept it, that you understand that there's a certain pool of girls, and they're the girls that you get access to. If you want to punch outside of those girls, number one, you to be honest, a lot of time you're going to need to actually speak Japanese, like, because if the thing is, like, if the biggest telltale sign that a girl likes foreigners is if she can speak English. Most Japanese girls cannot speak English. Yeah, they might be able to read and understand some, but they cannot speak it. Um, Panglima Kla Pan says, so Mac, how to separating ordinary girl and the one who's selling themselves? I'm not sure. Mm, yeah, I mean, do you mean like sex workers and you know sugar babies and whatnot? Um, I mean, I'm not sure what your question exactly is. If you mean like how to separate like ordinary girl as opposed to a girl that's like looking for money and looking for wants something in exchange, is just basically looking for a sugar daddy. Well, if you're asking that, girls that girls that are looking for something, and they're all looking for something, but girls that are looking for, explicitly looking for like money, I mean, it's it can be pretty obvious just by the way they dress. One of the biggest telltale signs that a girl is kind of a bitch, um, as in she's like a naughty girl, is if she's a really young girl, like as in like 18 to 21, or and she's kind of dripped out in designer fashion, like Louis Vuitton or Gucci, Dior kind of shoes, heels, handbags. It's like, you think she earned that? You think she just came from a rich family? Nah, probably not. She might have come from a rich family, but most of the time she's turning out tricks. She's doing she has a sugar daddy, or she's outright into sex work. So like, I'll honestly, when I see a girl with like really expensive get up, like when she's wearing like very expensive clothes, a lot of time for me, these girls are the hardest to bang. These girls can be the hardest to bang, like because they're used to getting something monetary in exchange for their sex. Like, they're just so used to it, and I'm just not going to give them that. I'm just not i'm just not like, they'll get a coffee at best, or occasionally, occasionally I will have food with the girl. I'll have lunch with dinner, or but only in the case that I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone. In the case where it's like the date kind of lines up with me genuinely wanting to eat, like that's kind of like the scenario. In any other situation, I'll do a drink or a coffee, just because. I, well, I mean, if you can do a drink or a coffee and you're not like, honestly, I just don't. I just feel after so much trial and error, I understand that just because you buy a girl dinner or lunch or whatever or anything, it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't. It's not going to change her mind about banging you. It's not going to be like, oh, uh, he bought me dinner, so I'm going to bang him. Oh, he's so no. It doesn't make any. They're going to bang you either way. So like, it's just there's no point in taking a girl and spending. I don't know. I mean, it's not even that. It's not even about the money so much. It's like it's not that expensive, but at the like, it's not about that. Like, because if you take a girl anywhere, you're gonna, you take her for coffee, you take her for a drink, you take her for dinner, you take her for lunch. Like, if you don't pay, you look like a dork. So you're gonna have to pay anyway. So what's the point? I would say just don't. It's always gonna be always aim for drink or coffee. Don't buy them a fucking. They haven't earned it. Like, don't take them to a three-course meal anyway. No one wants to bang on a full stomach anyway. It's not that you can't, but I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't. The point is, I'm kind of going off topic, off what your question is, I think, but no, it's kind of related because these girls will expect, like, a telltale sign that a girl is also like a she's out for something monetary is like if she's demanding, like, not demanding but like saying, oh, let's meet at such and such a restaurant, some mad expensive fucking restaurant, or yeah, it's like that's like get the fuck out of here. Like, that's amateur shit. Like, the most amateur fucking mistake you can make as a guy in dating is to like agree to meet, to let the girl decide the date and to decide the location and the restaurant and things like that. Amateur hour, man. If you ever do that, just understand that you're amateur. Like, don't ever allow that. And that you can compromise, but the less compromise, the better. I don't compromise anymore, but I'll compromise about the date and time. Like, if it obviously you have to compromise sometimes because it's not possible. You obviously you want to meet someone. Sometimes you're gonna have to like change the time up a little bit. Um, but location and the restaurant or the place you're gonna actually go with her, that never fucking compromise because like you're just yeah. But that's another telltale sign that she's looking for some. She's just looking to trying to use you. She's trying to test the waters, see what you're, see how easy you're gonna give up like any um give up your money. And that's another good reason. Like, a lot of Japanese girls, like a lot of Japanese guys, will pretty much pay for sex, even with girls that aren't hookers. They're all fucking hoes at the end of the day. But and that's another reason these girls don't want to deal with foreigners because it's more complicated. They might think that they're not going to be able to get spoiled like Japanese guys will spoil them and whatnot. Uh, Panglima says, "Sorry, late. Some of my friends always get the 3 or 4 one because the ordinary girl not wanting foreigner." Yeah, I mean, ordinary girls. Yeah, that's the whole point. Is this the topic of the show? Is that the ordinary Japanese girls in general don't like foreigners. It's just that there's a different standard of what is considered handsome in Japan for men. So girls, like the vast majority of Japanese girls, like a completely different kind of guy. Like just to give you guys an example of how, like, long story short, to just put it bluntly, most Japanese girls prefer a far more feminized man, almost like a femboy. Like, it's just the rugged kind of Western, like, or the foreigner, depending on the country. That rugged kind of like handsome, chiseled jaw, like, muscular, like the Chad look is not necessarily a look that is gonna. You're not gonna be the most popular guy in Japan with that look. You'll be like, it's the safest bet. Like, you might be the most popular with the girls that like foreign guys. Yeah, like you probably would. Like, if you have the Chad look, you'll be the king of the foreigners in Japan. You'll be like, you'll have access. You'll get the pick of pick of the crop from the girls that like foreign guys. But the vast majority of girls, like the ordinary Japanese girls, ordinary as in the girls that aren't like solely interested in foreign guys, not ordinary in terms of looks. Some of these girls are absolutely fucking hot as fuck. Um, they're not attracted to that. They're not necessarily attracted to that rugged, like, handsome, chiseled jaw look. Um, Let me just share something. There we go. Okay, I'll just show you guys. There's different standards of what is considered handsome here. I mean, these photos are from what is called host clubs, and these are what, like, Japanese girls pay to go at, like, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, this is what, look how feminine this dude looks. Like, a lot of these guys even wear makeup, and this is what is considered like handsome. This is what is considered cool. This is what is considered, uh, yeah. This is kind of a look that it would be popular amongst so-called ordinary Japanese girls, and I'm talking about the vast majority. Um, so obviously, I don't want to look like that. I never want to look like that. I'm not going to try and look like that. It's like, even if I had pussy on tap, I wouldn't want to look like that. It's just not a look. That's just not who I am. Not who I ever want to be. Hmm. But just trying to illustrate a point, when people say, "Oh, it's so easy for you. You're a foreign guy in Japan. Oh my God, it's easy mode. It's fucking." Oh, I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of hearing it. But it is what it is. It's just part of living here as a foreign guy. But one of the interesting things is, like, I get more compliment, like, it's funny because I get more compliments from dudes. Like, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I mean, no, I like fashion. I like to dress. I have my own style. I have a certain style I like. I don't know, but I get compliments from, like, random fucking dudes when I'm walking down the street. Um, Occasionally from girls, but I'll talk about that in a second. But I could be walking down the street, and some random Japanese guy would be talking with and I'd overhear as we're passing by. He'd be like to his friend, "Oh, like," and he say it in Japanese. It's like kakoi or kake. Is like, it means cool. Like, oh, look, it's cool. He's cool. Like, he's a cool style. But um, it's fucking really weird. Like, and these same kind of guys will say, "Oh, it must be so easy." The same kind of guys maybe in a bar or club will be like, "Oh, it must be so easy for you to get girls." And I'm like, dude, I wish it was. Like, I would love it was, man. I really would. I really would. Like, why would you not? Like, but I understand that it is what it is. As a man, anyway, as men, we just have to accept the fact that we're the ones that have to do the hunting. We're the ones that have to do the chasing. That's why all this like rotten, shitty Western culture is such garbage. All this shit garbage. And we all remember the whole Gillette ad where it's like the guy's about to do a cold approach and he gets cock blocked by some prick wanker is like, "Hey, bro, that's not cool, man. Not cool. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my way. I'll slap someone if they did that. I would absolutely slap. So if I was about to do a cold approach, don't talk to some girl. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And some dude stepped out in my way to cock block me. It's on. Like we're got it. We have to fight. Like it's not like if he's like 6'6" and built like a brick house, obviously don't pick fights with people who can fuck you up. But I don't know. I don't know what I'd do in that situation, but I don't know. I'd tell him to get fucked. I don't know what I'd do, but I would, yeah, it would be a tense situation anyway. I'd just be so pissed off. I don't know what I'd do. I would be so pissed off if someone tries to cock block you for trying to talk to a girl. Anyway, I'm kind of taking a side note, but it is what it is. Uh, yeah, So as I was saying, it's like I get more compliments from random dudes. It sounds weird, but and it's not even that the dudes are gay or anything. It's nothing to do. I'm not even being hit on. It's just that they're like, oh, he's. They're saying to their friend, I guess they think I have a cool style. Like, I don't have a problem with that, but it's like it's like, dude, like, no, there's no you don't get off the plane in Japan and you're gonna have random girls running up to you like trying to suck your dick, or even like another interest, on the same note as getting compliments from random strangers, or not even direct I just overhear them as they'd say like, oh, kakoi, and not even in they're not doing it in a condescending way either. They, I guess they mean it. I mean, I can tell once if someone occasionally it can be condescending if they're drunk or in a nightclub and that. But occasionally I'll get compliments from a chick or the same kind of situation, or like, oh, like ikemen. Like ikemen means handsome in Japanese, and you'd be passing some girls. This doesn't happen very often, but they might say like, oh, ikemen. And if they're hot, if a girl says something like that, I'll go and approach them. But interestingly, it's funny because the girls that kind of say stuff like that, I'll approach them. You know, obviously, if you're getting a compliment like that, some hot chick is saying "Ike man" on the street, I'll approach a girl like that. And statistically, I've ran the numbers, and I said, have I ever banged a girl that like opened me like that? And I'm like, and not even open me. They're not actually saying to me, "Ikemen." I can hear you kind of hear them say it to their friends. Like it's not even that they're so as you're walking by them on the street or whatever. They're like, "Oh, I should be Ikemen." You'll hear what they're saying. They'll be kind of looking at you, and I'll do a turn around, do a U-turn, go up and talk to them. And I've thought, have I ever banged a girl that did that? And it's like, I don't think I might have, but it's like in general, nothing usually ever comes of those interactions. The girl, the girls that I've always had success with, and there's been a lot, and that's not bragging or anything. It's just, I just understand what it takes to get laid. Like I understand what it takes to get, to from go to A to Z. Like I figured it out, you know. But you know, it's like the girls that I always have success with are the girls that usually don't even give me any choosing signals. They don't, maybe even don't see me. I'm as, I'm out. I see them, like, they don't see me. I'm out hunting. It's like, you know, but no, for real, like they don't usually see me coming, or like they'll be on their phone looking at their phone. I'll see them, they're hot as fuck. So, they could be sitting down reading a book, wherever. Usually it's a phone, right? No one reads books these days. But you know, my point is there's no choosing signals. Like I said, a lot of time they don't see me coming. I think they're hot. I'll roll up to them, introduce myself, tell them I think they're hot, depending on the girl. And um and I would say it's not what you say, it's just how you say it. It's just like, as long as you don't say something super weird, um, just casually talk to them, let them know that you're interested in them just by the way you're talking to them. And you don't need to beat around the bush either. But I'm just saying, those are the girls I have success with. The girls that I don't get any IOIs from, indicators of interest. None of that. Like none of that. Like there's no like I get like girls that like I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like I was thinking like what is it? Why is that? Like the girls that sometimes even the girls that give IOIs to me out in public, like as in whispering to her friend that they think I'm handsome. You roll up to them, nothing usually comes of that. I don't know what the psychology is behind that, but like, why is it that I'm more successful with girls that don't give any? I don't even. It's just kind of weird, but um, uh, Spark55 says, "You ever had that happen to you?" I think you might be referring to the cock blocking incident, a cock blocking type situation. I mean, never in public. That's never. It's never happened in public. I mean, that would be fucking. Ooh, that would just. I don't know how that would end, but it would. Because like, if someone like steps in front of you, that's a very extreme act of aggression. I would say so. No, thankfully it hasn't happened yet. Um, like if someone stops you from going where you want to go, damn, it's like it's on. Like it's a fight. It has to be a fight. At least I'm gonna shove them hard out of my way. Like if you're like, it's just annoying on so many levels for a guy to do that. Like it's infuriating. It would be so infuriating on so many levels for a guy to step out in front of me, stop me from. First of all, he's stopping me from talking to a hot girl that I want to talk to. Second of all, he's a fucking dude. Stop like in my way, aggressively trying to control me. So it's like fuck you, dude. Like I would. First of all, I shoved that dude really hard, like just like fucking like as hard as I could. I would shove him fucking hard. And then if he wanted to fight after that, if he came at me trying to attack me, then it's on. That's on him then. But yeah, that's how I'd handle it. But it hasn't happened, so thankfully. Um. Uh. Panglima says some YouTuber from my country shot at JC and no one getting on his way or at the comment. That amazed me. I'm not sure what you mean by that. What is JC? Um, yeah, but if you can elaborate, what is JC? Um, and which is your country? But yeah, so as I was saying, yeah, let me just show you. Let me show you what I would consider our like creme de la creme, like hot Japanese girls that like these are not the kind of girls that are easy in any way, shape, or form. Let me see. Yeah, so like if you think as a foreigner that you're gonna be able to come over to Japan, uh, yeah, if you think you're gonna come over to Japan, you're gonna be able to, as a foreigner, and be able to hook up with girls like this, you're like, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's yeah, like it's not gonna happen. Like even if you're like a chat super Chad, um, yeah, I mean, what's almost girls like this, like pretty much would want like you're gonna need to have your money game sorted. And it's just like, yeah, if you don't have the money aspect sorted, they're just not going to deal with you. They're just not going to deal with you. Like, even if you're Chad, like if you have mad game and you're Chad, um, that won't cut it. They're gonna need them. They're gonna need the money. They're gonna need the money too. They're gonna need like. They're just not gonna give it up. And first, and like I said earlier, being chiseled jaw, uh, Chad, it's not necessarily the type that a girl like this would like. They might like a more feminine looking guy, and that's just like, girls are picky, man. It's just the way it is. Um, even busted girls are picky, man. Like, even busted, like, that's the crazy. That's why the sexual marketplace is so fucked up. It's because even busted girls are picky, and they can be picky. It's just because even like busted chicks have types, you know. So that's why I did, my last, I did a short video. I said, if you're gonna do a cold approach, approach a girl that is your type, not just a girl that you think like, guys. A lot of guys will punch down. Guys will kind of accept what they can get. But the thing is, as a dude, you should even a busted chick is more likely to, not more likely, but could be just as likely to reject you as a girl that is your type, because if you're even if she's busted, if you're not her type, she's probably still gonna reject you. It's because girls have that ability, like, they have that privilege. Girls have that advantage, like, over men in the sexual marketplace, and it's an extreme advantage. And I've made the comparison before, lad. It's like it's as extreme as Mike Tyson against the fucking elementary school kid. You can make that comparison. It's like an absurd advantage. Like when it comes to getting laid. If you ask the question, oh, who can get laid easier, a man or a woman, and it's gonna be like women, like, vastly, like, it's vastly easier for a woman to get laid than it is a man. So that's, I mean, it's just so obvious, and it's like girls will deny it, and it's just such an absurd thing to deny. It's like there's whole billion, there's like in every all over the world, men pay for all kinds of like sexual services. Like, pay, like, there's strip clubs, there's OnlyFans, there's porn websites, there's prostitution, and it's like, man, it's like, you know so it's just obvious. And even without all that, just objective, like, reality, just go out and, you know once if you're not a fucking idiot, I just don't understand how men can, even with all the blue pill conditioning, how are men such, like, you know I don't know how they don't see the truth about female nature. Because you'll have these white knights. You'll even have the white knights that are like, oh no, it's men and women are equal, we're all the same. It's like, oh, it's no, it's men are it's just as easy for men to get laid. Dude, shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up. um but yeah, like I said, if you think that me or anyone, like, you know that I have some kind of advantage, or being a white guy in Japan, and that I can somehow get access to these chicks, I want to bury that myth, like, because it's such an annoying myth. It's so right. It's literally the opposite. That's why I hate the whole white privilege thing too. It's like the white privilege. It's so infuriating to be like, I think this is the most annoying. It's certainly the most annoying myth. It's one of the most annoying things that I have to deal with living as a foreigner in Japan, is that people accusing. It's like an accusation, actually. It's like people accusing, saying that you have some kind of given advantage or that you get something easy. It's like it's like if someone worked really hard to make a company or make a lot of money, and then you just say, "Oh, you didn't work hard for that. You just got it. You're just like you just got it. Like it's easier for you." It's like fuck you, man. You have no idea. You have no idea. You need mad game to like even come close to getting with girls like this. And like even more than just game, you need like I said, you need to be the full package, like to get with like just you know hotties like this. The full package, or they're just not going to deal with you. Um, you know, uh, and like I said, most of these girls have very little interest in foreigners. And if they are interested in foreigners, they're probably interested in Korean or like some Korean like Korean guys, or not necessarily Western guys. Um, you know, but yeah. So yeah, that's just want to bury that myth. Um, so these girls I would say girls like when it comes to the top tier Japanese girls, I would say that the one of the things that they would respect most about a guy is if he has his money up, because girls want access to that, and they're gonna expect to be treated. So like, even if you're not directly paying for it, like as in paying like literally paying cash, like if like you're paying for some sexual service, you're gonna have to pay like with dinner dates, like and not any kind of ordinary dinner dates. It's gonna have to be like legit, and then you're gonna have to show them that you live in a certain spot. Like they're gonna have to you know like the how do I say it? Yeah, some girls like if you don't live in a certain area or if you don't have a certain standard of apartment or house, they're not gonna fuck with you either. I mean, I've lost girls. I've lost girls because I live in a pretty regular apartment right now, and I'm sure I've lost chicks because of that. As in, um, yeah, some girls just like once they realize it's the thing that the most I think the some of these girls would expect you to live in what's called like a tower mansion, or it's not that they expect it, they want you. Like they're not going to fuck with a guy that isn't living in a certain, like I said, a certain standard of apartment, because that's an indicator of your like financial success. And that's, like I said, these girls, it's if you want to fuck with the top, like I'm talking about the like creme de la creme, the super like fit, like sexy as fuck chicks. Um, like I said, being cool and handsome and all that shit is that'll maybe get you in the door, like as in they'll give you time to talk to them, but it's not gonna cut it like in terms of like sealing the deal or closing the deal. I've had girls that like were seemingly down, like I've got them to the point of like coming to my place, but once they see it's not a tower mansion, like a fucking tower block, and that's kind of where the most expensive apartments are in Japan. They'll be like, they'll suddenly say, it's happened occasionally that they'll suddenly refuse to come in. It's happened before. It's happened before. So that's why you never want to lie about you. And it's not that I would have lied or anything, but I remember one occasion where it was so obvious that like it was my friend actually. He kind of fucked up. Um, so we were doing wingman game, and we meet these girls on the street. It was like I don't know, midnight or something. Got talking to them. They were pretty receptive, and my friend got a little overzealous. He actually lives in a pretty nice area in Tokyo, and he basically said, we did the whole thing. Let's do a home party, and the girls were like kind of on the fence. One of the girls was fully down. She was, as soon as we said home party, she was down. Like she wanted. She was like, oh yeah, cool, cool, cool. But her friend was on the fence. She was like, hmm. And to like get her to agree, my friend said, "Oh, I live in it's a tower mansion," and then she got really interested all of a sudden. Then, because then I said, "Oh, that's cool. That's fancy, fancy tower mansion." But my friend, the thing is, my friend doesn't live in a tower mansion. I was like, dude, like you can't, like they're gonna find out. Like we're going to your house. But I could kind of see his point. He was just trying to like get the other girl to agree. But sure enough, once we arrived at his apartment building, they really like, so they're kind of surprised, right? So because it's not a tower mansion, and the thing is, it's a nice apartment actually. He lives in a pretty good apartment, and in a very nice area too, and so it shouldn't have been an issue. But just the fact that he lied about it like spooked the girls. So we got out of the taxi, and the girls just stopped kind of like talking to us, like just literally just started ghosting us. Like it was crazy. It was I've never experienced something like this, because we rode in the taxi for like 10 or 15 minutes with them. Everything's fine. And suddenly they just start looking at their phones, standing real close to each other and like ghosting us. Like, and we're like, hey, let's go in. And they're like, they just stop responding to us. And then they just start walking away. It's hilarious. It was hilarious. But I'm just saying, if girls catch you lying or lying about it, they're like completely disgusted about it. Especially if it's something to do with your status or like your wealth or anything. It's like, if you get caught, I'm not saying you can't lie. Fuck it. Chicks lie all the time. But I'm just saying, if you get caught lying, yeah, they're going to, yeah, they're not gonna want anything to do with you. Just a word of warning. Fredo7 says Japanese girls tighter. Depends on the girl, man. I mean, in general, I would say yes. In general, because but some girls certainly not, because they've been around the block, right? Um, some girls are, man. I mean, some girls certainly are. Like, I mean, usually, generally, they have like they're smaller. I think Japanese girls have smaller frames. So usually they have tighter, tighter pussies. But I would say girls, if they're in the foreigner circuit, if they're on that circuit, if they're doing the rounds, they're not going to be tight. They're going to be well broken in, because they've hooked up with a lot of guys, of all different shapes and sizes. So let's just say they're But answer your question, I'd say in general, I would say yes, not a bad thing, eh? Unless like it can be bad. I know guys, some guys like you could there's such thing as being you could be too big in Japan, I would say. I know friends that have some struggles. Yeah, so Japanese girls are definitely tighter, because I know some guys, if you're too big in the dick location, you could yeah, you might not even be able to put it in. That's I've heard stories of that happening. Um uh, yeah, but that is the case. That is the story here in Japan. Um just to sum things up, it's they're not easy, basically. It's the opposite of being easy. You're playing on If you're a foreigner in Japan, you're playing on hard mode, if you want to if you're going out. So that's why it's like, when you're doing Daygame, it's a numbers game anywhere, but certainly in Japan it's a numbers game. It's even more, you have to approach like more chicks, because like I said, there's certain girls, no matter how sharp your game is, no matter how well you dress, everything could be perfect. Like your approach, everything is spot on. But some girls, there's a lot of girls in Japan that are just not ever going to give you the time of day. They're never going to give you that chance. So that's why you have to like really, you have to really take rejection on the chin, like not even on the chin like that, but you got to be able to take your licks, and you got to like really not care about rejection a lot, because I get rejected a lot. Like you guys, when we're talking about day game, like yeah, you get rejected. Like it happens a lot. Like you think I'm just rolling up the girls and like getting their numbers like every time. It doesn't work like that. Um, and I'm fully transparent about it. Like it's like that's part of game, and it's still better. I still think it's better than online game, because you're still because you just have more choice when it comes to like when it comes to choosing the girls that you want. And luckily in Tokyo, I don't have to go far. Step outside my house, go down to the local area. I'm gonna see hot girls. Like I'm gonna see hot girls all around me. There's just a lot of options. So if you're living in somewhere like this, it makes a lot of sense to be doing day game. It makes the perfect sense, like to be involved in doing day game in somewhere like Tokyo. If it wasn't doing day game, it just wouldn't be leveraging like the environment in which I'm in. Like why would you not? Like guys that don't do day game and don't do cold approach and they're living in Tokyo are missing out. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like they're wasting such an opportunity. Um such an opportunity to be wasting. It's like I don't know, how would I make this analogy. It would be like fucking imagine you were a fisherman and you went, you had access to these fertile fishing grounds with plentiful, bountiful amounts of fish, and instead of fishing, in the on the fishing grounds that you have access to, you go to some artificial fish farm, and you get these like these fish farm fish that are just like low quality, like not have been fed shit and don't taste as good. So that's the analogy I just came up with there. I don't know if it's a very good one, but it's like I think it's all right. But I'm just saying, like, if you're in a location, like that's why there's different solutions for every different every guy. It's not a one size fits all solution. Like if you live out in the back arse of fucking, I don't know, some back arse of America or some small town, and even in Ireland, it's like there's only so much. Like day game skills will be useful anywhere you go. It's like no matter where you are, but it's going to be limited, so it'd be understandable that you would use like dating apps in those locations and things like that. So, but if you're living in a city, even in Western countries or wherever, and it just makes sense to do day game. Um, but yeah, I mean, I hope I put the myth to bed about Japanese girls not being easy. So that is my point about today. That is my main. That is the moral of today's rant. Is that the lesson of today's rant is that you want to come to Japan, it's not going to be easy. Um, uh, Definitely not. And it might be a thing that you can do better than your home country, but it's like you're still not getting like you're not getting the hottest girls in Japan, not by a long shot, unless you're like your game is tuned in. Let's go. Brandon says day game is best game in my opinion. For most guys, it is absolutely. For most guys, it is because most guys get ripped off due to the world in which we live in, due to the internet, due to female hypergamy, due to the fact that females can get sex so much easier than men can. So Um, unless you're like a very handsome dude, um, or have model kind of looks, or a lot of clout and status, mix that in with clout and status. Like if you're one of those guys, then you're probably gonna like never need. You might never need to do a date game because you can just like swipe right on a dating app, and you're just gonna have infinite access to pussy. But that's never been the case for me, and that's not the case for most guys. That like they don't have that kind of, they don't have that privilege, they don't have that advantage, they don't have that privilege. They're just, even the guys that are above average, anything above average is, if you're 5 and up, if you're 5 out of 10 in terms of looks, I would say the guys that really only clean up are like on dating apps. You got to, at least to do really well on a dating app, like to be doing like, having getting a lot of matches, I'd say you have to at least be an 8 out of 10 in terms of looks. Like, and then anything below that, you're going to start to have to scrape. You're going to be you're going to be scraping the barrel and getting leftovers. And it's just frustrating. It's just, you're getting ripped off. It's bullshit. You're literally getting ripped off. You're going to have to punch down to girls that are like fucking, like, yeah, punching down. And that's fucking shit. No one wants to punch down. Fuck that. Let's see. Let's go. Brandon says half white and Japanese girls are really fine. Generally, the hottest. It sounds weird, but the hottest Japanese half girls are always when the father is Japanese and the mother is foreign. If it's some of the most busted, some half girls can be busted, but it's sometimes the most busted half girls are when the father is foreign and the mother is Japanese. And that's honestly the most common. But some of the fucking hottest Japanese like half girls you'll ever see, it's always when the father, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. It's when the father is Japanese and the mother is foreign. You see some hot fucking girls like that. Because the thing is, like when the seed comes from the father, so they're getting when a girl is a half that way, they're getting they have the fine features of a Japanese female, but then they can get the voluptuousness of a foreign chick. So some of these girls can be exceptionally fucking hot. But I gotta say, sometimes when the father is foreign and the mother is Japanese, sometimes they're the most busted, like Japanese girls, like the most busted half girls. They can be they can be much more they can kind of get more masculine features, and they sometimes they're just not as hot. A lot of the time they're not. But yeah, man, certainly fucking some hot half girls. But like I said, if you want the really hot ones is when the father is Japanese, because they get the Japanese genetics, like, um, more so the features tend to be more finer. Yeah, but that's kind of a side note. Duracell says, "You ever deal with Brazilian girls?" I've dealt with a few. There's a lot of half Brazilian girls in Japan. There seems to be some kind of there's a connection between a lot of Japanese went to Brazil after the Second World War or during it. I don't know when, but that's why a lot of them come back to Japan because they can get the passport and they can get residence here. Um, but yeah, I've dealt with a few. There's some fine mixed Brazilian girls in Japan for sure. Yeah, but I'm haven't dealt so much with pure Brazilian girls. Um, but yeah, I mean they're definitely they're quite voluptuous indeed. Um, But yeah, guys, I gotta get out, gotta roll out. As usual, like, comment, subscribe. Check out the link in the description if you want to book a consultation on your day game, on your dating life. Hit me up, can sort you out, fix things up. But until next time, which will be Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.